Hello everybody, it is FoxWind here, and welcome to Space Engineers. Now I'm doing something a little bit differently. I'm going to be showcasing a ship I have created in my spare time. Now, as you can see, the ship is a monstrosity. It's huge. My character's off to the left side. I'll let him wave at you. Hello! Anyways, I spent probably way too much time and put way too much effort into it because it came out really overcomplicated in many aspects. But in the end result, I really like it. I think it's a really great ship for the purpose that I have for it. So the purpose is that this ship can go down to a planet side, and it can sit about like 3,000, 4,000 meters above the planet side. And mining ships, drones, welders, grinders can enter and exit through that top cockpit or hangar there. And I'll be showing you that in a little bit. And then they can, drop off supplies, pick up supplies, and all of that. And then we also have the bottom hangar here, which is a larger hangar to hold kind of more of the larger set of ships, like freighter ships if you're going longer distances with things, and all the necessities that you need. Now, as you can see, I also have a huge pack of ion thrusters down here. That is so the ship can actually go into space. I designed the ship to basically kind of drop into the planet and do all of it, help build a station there, and then it can go back up to space where it can jump to the next planet to be able to colonize it. So, let's get into a little more detail here. I got I call it the middle deck here. But the middle deck is just where all of the main atmospheric thrusters sit, and where all the catwalk is, where this is where you can walk around, do a lot of maintenance on this. The ships can fly in and out through this little spot here, which I love. I love how I designed that. And then we also have the upper deck up here, which is the kind of the same thing, just a maintenance area for the atmospheric thruster with a little passageway they can run through to get to the other side, which has more atmospheric thrusters and an air vent there to pull in air from the atmosphere onto the ship. And then the other side's exactly the same. So there is no lower deck, but we do have the hangar, and it's not really that amazing, just a lot of thrusters. And that is pretty much the exterior of the ship. As you can see, I only have 2 small thrusters for side movement and 2 large ones for forward, and then even just 1 large one for stopping. So you're like, oh, that's not enough thrusters. What are you doing? That won't get you anywhere. Well, the point is the ship isn't supposed to move that much. It's supposed to drop to a planet, do what it needs to do, build a station, mine resources, whatever you need it to do, I guess. And then it's supposed to fly back up to space. From there, there's jump drives installed where it can jump towards the next planet and do the same thing. That is why there's not a lot of forward movement or backward movement, because it wasn't designed to move a lot, just up and down. So that's the reason behind why I have basically no atmospheric thrusters in any direction but up. And then I do have a couple more ion thrusters, 2 big ones for the sides. I have 1 big one for the front and 4 big ones for the back, so it can move around in space a little bit easier than planet side. But that is, basically all the exterior, so we're going to hop back into my person here and head into the front of the ship. Now, when I open this door, you're going to tell that I have a pressurization issue. Well, it's not really an issue, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So when we walk into here, we get into this first little room here, which is surrounded by windows. It looks very cool, have the air vent in here to pressurize it. And you can use your imagination for this one. You can use it for meeting room, mess hall, and anything you want it to be. So as we run back here, we're going to be greeted with these doors and a staircase. Now, if we take the staircase up, we'll be actually entering the command center of the ship. And this is where everyone sits, and they have special controls and jobs to do, and all that. We'll come back here in a little bit to kind of go to drive the ship and all that, so I'll show you more of that later. Now, as we go through this door, we're greeted with the hangar bay. Now, the hangar bay, and I have these ships here as an example of what it's kind of supposed to do. So these mining ships can come in, can drop off their supplies, and then go back out and mine some more and bring it back and forth, and all that fun stuff. So with that, we also can depressurize this hangar here, so the hangar can be depressurized, and then these hangar doors can remain open for however long you want them to be on the planet, or if you need to close them, you can. Now, going through this back door here, we are greeted with even more staircases. Yippee. Lots of exercise in the ship. So, we're also going to be looking at the oxygen generators here. This is emergency backup oxygen generators, just in case the you run out of ice in the main generators. This might help sustain the ship for a little bit, and you won't run out of oxygen as quick. That was the point of those. So we're going to head back up, or head up these stairs into the next little area. And this is the main oxygen generation room, where we have plenty of oxygen generators, where it's all connected up. And we also have the cryopods in here. Now, along with the oxygen generators, I have them set up to be sorted, and the ice goes into here. And so it pulls it from the cargo container just in case. You know, you always have it pulling into it. And with the cryopods, we have... I don't even know how many are sitting here, but we have plenty of them just in case the... your crew is going AFK, or whatever purposes you need for the cryopod, it's there. And that is the only things that are up here, because that door leads back onto that front deck. And then we're going to go ahead back through here and head to the lower deck, where we can look at some of the stuff down there. And that includes the large hangar. So we're going to run down these staircases. I have windows set up everywhere because I think they look cool. But we're greeted with another air vent because I think the room up there is too big for just one. We're going to go through this door, and now we're into the actual hangar areas, where I have an overview deck of the hangar, and we can go through this door. And I have an example ship in here too. This is just kind of a freighter ship that I've built. Kind of really sucks, but that's beside the point. So you can bring in a larger ship, drop off supplies, or just have a bunch of like the miners or welders in here, just small welders and stuff. This is just a hangar. You can do whatever you want with it. Right, you can change this too. This is just kind of designed to set up with this ship. And we also have a few cargo containers down here, so if you need to drop off supplies on the quick, like you have stuff in your inventory you just want to drop off and deal with later, you can do that. And it was mostly for decorative purposes, nothing else. And then through this door, we're entering a depressurized area, so we're going to get kind of tossed around a little bit in here. But as we enter into this room, we are greeted with the sides of the cargo containers. And there's 4 cargo containers on this ship, so it can hold quite a bit. And then we also have the refineries under the floor here. We have the jump drive here, the assemblers here, and they all have modules connected. We're going to head back through this door and hit the right thing. We're going to come back in here, get hit with air, kind of fly around a little bit. We're going to head back up to the command center, where I'm going to show you how the ship handles and the controls I have set that I think are like the controls, how I feel the controls should be set. And I'll show them off. Alright, so we're entering into the command center here, and we're going to go ahead and hop onto this seat here and look at the ship's features and details. So let me pull up the HUD, and if we look at the mass, it weighs a ton. It's 7 million kilograms. That is huge well, relative to me. I haven't really ever built something this heavy. And it came with a lot of testing too. I tested that if you want to still get to space, you can hold up to, I think the mass in total can't exceed 20 million kilograms. So I did that testing, so if you want to still get to space, don't exceed that. Anyways, we're going to go on to the features here. I have some on and off switches for stuff. I have an on and off for the atmospheric thrusters, just in case you're in space and you don't want them on. And same with the ions if you don't want them on while you're on the planet. Then over on 5, we have the jump drive, and 6 is the auxiliary one that you can turn on and off in case you want to. 8 is a gyroscope override, and the override, what it does is you can set your position, and no matter how much I'm moving my mouse, it won't move the ship. So that's kind of a safety feature so the ship doesn't accidentally get moved. 9 is the turrets, just in case you want to turn them on and off for whatever reason. And then on our second page here, I have all of the events laid out for all of the hangars. So 1 and 2 is I believe, I have to check them real quick. So 1 is the ship vents, so you can turn the entirety of the ship vents on and off on the inside. Number 2 is the top hangar vents, and then we have the top hangar doors. And we have number 5 being the air intake, so if you're in a planet with an atmosphere, you can bring in air from the outside. 6 and 7 is the bottom hangers. 8 and 9 is the correlating vents for those. And then on 3, I have a little bit of an interesting setup here. 7 turns on and off the productivity and efficiency, whatever modules that is on those refineries. I forgot what I put them on them now. But you can turn those on and off just in case you need to reserve power. And then 8 is actually a button to close all of the exterior doors. That way, if somebody left one open, you can just press that and close them all. And then 9 is a lock for the exterior doors. That way, if you're in space and you don't want any of your crew to go outside or just kind of not thinking and try to open the exterior door, you can go ahead and actually lock them. So that if they hit it, they're like, oh, right, they were in space. I can't go out on the deck. I mean, if that wasn't common sense enough. And that just helps with the pressurization issues I was talking about earlier. So the thing is if you're on the planet, depending on what planet you're on Earth, you have oxygen, you don't need the vents. On the alien planet, you have a low oxygen, so you don't lose a lot in the depressurization, and I don't have to deal with airlocks. And then if you're on Mars or whatever, you have no atmospheric, then don't use those doors, basically. And with that, that is all the controls. And I'm going to go ahead and show you this is the ship going forward. It goes basically, I mean, it does okay, but it's not the greatest. It's really slow. Slowing down is even worse with just one thruster up there. And these are discluding the atmospheric thrusters because I'm not low enough to show those off, really. And then I got the side-to-side movements, and they work good. And if I go ahead and turn off the gyroscope, you can see the ship turns okay. It's not the most amazing thing ever, but it works. I mean, like I said, it's not supposed to move that much. So that is basically the entirety of this ship. I hope you guys like it. And I'm going to finish up everything on it and post it to the Steam Workshop. And I'll post a link to that after I get it done. So thank you for watching. And if you want to leave a like or a dislike, please do. It helps me a lot. And I'll see you guys next time.